Hmm. Well, hello everybody once again. I figured it's about time we did another update video or slash update slash discussion video because I haven't done one in quite a while. And I don't know if anyone's ever really noticed, but a few times, several times in the past, I have done community posts. Because yes, I have unlocked the community tab for having 500 subs, right? I do feel that they don't get enough attention sometimes, so I figured for the here going out, anything really important, I'll just make a video on, and otherwise, anything relatively mild, I will just make a community post on. So yeah, I do make some posts sometimes here and there. So if you want to check that out, feel free to. All right, so what's going on that I really want to discuss here? Well, as usual, when I make these kind of videos, I don't really have a general script in mind, but I do have a general sense of what to discuss. So what's going on at the moment? Well, the family stuff going on behind the scenes, no, it's still ongoing, unfortunately. Has it gotten better? Not really. It's still a stressful thing going on, and I don't know when or if it's ever going to end at this point. Because at this point, right now, in 20. Actually, yeah, today's date is May 14th, 2023. Uh, this has been going on for about a year now. The thing with the family member, it's just so insane that's been going on for this long. It is a medical thing, but the fact that it's been dragging on for this long after the surgery happened last June is just insane. I hate having to deal with it. It's been stressing me out to no end, stressing out my mother to no end. But I am stuck here. There's nothing I could do about it. I just have to deal with it. And obviously, yes, dealing with this for such a long period is taking its toll on me. But I can't do anything about that. So at the moment, I'm just trying to take it a day at a time, just trying to focus on it too much. If something does happen, if I get the outbursts from him or like crying or whatever, I just gotta deal with it, try to ignore it. Yeah, of course it's not easy, but I don't have a choice at the matter, like I said. As for my physical stuff, no, aside from the family member, yeah, my physical health is still like relatively not good. I mean, for the most part, my physical health has been very bad for a very long time. I've mentioned this several times before. No, I have diabetes. I've had that since I was 14. Also, I've been diagnosed with severe sleep apnea. Now, the sleep apnea thing is really what's getting to me recently. Because I don't know. I do have a machine that I use every night. For the most part, it helps me sleep, but in the long run, I still feel very tired overall, even though I do use it to sleep. I don't know what's going on with that, because last time I spoke to my pulmonologist, he pretty much saying, yeah, everything's working fine. So it's nothing to do with him, according to what he said. Although, like the past month or so, it's been really bad. Because even though I do make it through most of the night, even though I do get up to piss at some point, it's still pretty bad. I sleep and then I wake up and I'm still just as exhausted. It really makes no difference how much I sleep because yeah, I'm still tired in the morning. But the past 2 weeks in particular has been so bad. Why I have no idea. I really don't. Because I get through the night wearing this mask, right? When I wake up, I'm still just tired, right? I have to force myself to get out of bed and go out and do errands because that's pretty much all I do with my life. And when I get home, usually when I'm at home, I have the opportunity to record stuff, right? Well, again, the past 2 weeks I've been so out of it, I've just been bedridden, lying in bed doing nothing. It's really hard. I'm gonna be taking some periodic drinks here, so I know you can't see that through the webcam, but trust me, I'm taking some sips here and there. So it's been really hard. I haven't tried to record on my free time, but obviously I can't really do such a thing when I'm tired or to the point where I can't even sit up in the chair correctly. And even if I do feel like, yeah, I could probably get through recording if I force myself to, the problem is I've noticed in some more recent things I've done, even if I'm able to physically do it, I'm not really enjoying myself. And this is further complicated when I'm doing something that's frustrating. Either a frustrating thing in the game, something that I can't figure out in general. It illustrates in my behavior. Like, yeah, I'm not having a good time and I'm getting irritated. My tone of voice is getting irritated. So I'm gonna try to hold off on time being. I don't know what else there is to say in this regard. It's just not a very good time in general. I do wish things would get better, but again, I've been physically ill for a very long time. It's partially why that I'm technically disabled, in case anyone's wondering why I was able to make so many videos in such a short time frame. I'm not sure if I ever disclosed this, but yeah, I am technically disabled. I don't work, which is pretty much why the only way I've been able to produce over 3,000 videos in the amount of time I've been doing this, because I don't work, right? Because yeah, I sometimes go out and do errands, so do some things with family. I don't have any friends personally, just some family members are close by. But aside from doing those things, I am just always by myself at home, which allows me to do so much work. I'm not burned by like the 9 to 5 or anything, no 40 hours, full time, part time, whatever. I don't do any of that. When I physically can't, it's just so exhausting for me. And yes, I did work part time for 17 years across 3 separate jobs, all retail, by the way. That was really rough. And it got to a point where I just had a breakdown. I just couldn't take it anymore, and I literally walked out of the building. I just literally walked out. I just like, couldn't take it anymore. And that was back in 2018. That was the last point I worked. I haven't worked at any point since. And by the way, these were all part-time jobs. So any amount of money I did make is just taken away from the benefits I get. So it's really not a good situation to be in. So yeah, in case you're wondering, like people wonder, like why am I able to put out so much work, so many videos? Because I'm not obligated to work at all. That's the thing. Are my finances that great? No, not particularly. No, I do consider myself like middle class at best. Of course, I try not to think about that too much. I'm just here to have like a good time doing this as a hobby. Do I anticipate this becoming anything bigger? No, not really. If it does, it does, but it's not like it has to become something big at this point. Which brings me to a lot of the facts that even like the people who do this like for a full-time living, who are immensely popular, they don't put out as much like videos that you think they would, right? So pretty much, yes. By the way, I did take the plunge and subscribe to Premium finally because I'm getting sick of the ads pretty much because I just spend so much time looking at stuff. By paying that whatever fee it is a month, I don't have to deal with the ads anymore. So it is something, right? Because as you can see, all my subscriptions are pretty much public. Yeah, I don't hide my subscriptions, so I am subscribed to a fair amount of people, not just gaming related. I mean, do I watch every single channel vigorously? No. Do I watch everything that every single channel puts out? No, I just don't have the time for that. But I just stay subscribed to them in case there is something that I have the time to watch, right? If it's something I'm interested in, I have the time to watch, yes, I will spend the time to watch it. Also, given the fact that I don't work, helps a lot as well. So yeah, you can pretty much go to any other channel, even if they're gaming related or not gaming related, regardless of their sub count or whatever. They don't put out like as much content like like regularly. It's just like whenever they put something out, they put something out. Not that I'm holding that against them at all. I know we all have busy different schedules and stuff, but in case you're wondering, yeah, that is why I'm just able to put out so much stuff at once because I don't work. So anything else going on I need to discuss? Let me think. So yeah, I am keeping busy when I can. No, I do a recording when I can, although being frustrated is absolutely not fun for me. It's not fun for you to watch, so I'm trying to avoid that for the time being. It's just the being tired was plaguing me so much at the moment. It is just so awful right now. Even when I get up, I go out, like run an errand or something. Yeah, I'm pretty much spending the rest of my day in bed, like face down in bed, just with a video on in the background because I can't physically do anything else. Yeah, it's really bad. I don't know if there is a way to fix this or if it ever will get better. For the time being, though, I'm just sort of like in a slump, like a fatigue slump, which, and I know it's really sucky. But as far as future plans for the channel go, I'm trying to think of what to do. Obviously, I do have some projects in the works at the moment. I am working on stuff, some other things I plan on doing. Although there is like a lot of concern, at least to me, like what I should be doing as far as game choice goes. Because yes, I do try to take requests as best I can. Because that's what I like to do. If somebody wants me to play a particular thing, I usually go out of my way to try and satisfy that. It's not always easy though, because if it's a very obscure thing, obviously it's not the easiest thing in the world for me to get a copy of, especially if it's especially older or whatever. So I am trying to do what I can. Another thing I am rather conflicted on is like even if someone wants me to play a particular something, like what if it's something very involved, Because I did play Dying Light on the channel. You guys remember that. Now, I already played Dying Light and the following DLC off camera before I had a channel. And someone asked me like a very long time ago, could you play Dying Light? And I responded, well, no, I can put it on the channel, but I've already played through it, so I'll be familiar with the story or the quests and stuff. But they answered me back again saying, "Oh, I don't care about that. That's fine. I appreciate if you do it anyway." So I did, right? Now, Dying Light 2 has since been released. I do own a copy of Dying Light 2. I have it on PS5 physical. It's installed, but I haven't got a chance to start it yet. And the thing is about Dying Light 2. Let's go somewhere else, please. How long? Let's go to howlongtobeat.com. Very good resource if you want to get a basic idea of how long it takes to beat something. So let's put in Dying Light 2, right? Light 2. So yeah, the main story takes about 24 hours according to this. Well, obviously, if you want to do main plus extra, it's about 47 hours. And obviously, completion this means getting like all the achievements, doing every activity. You're looking at almost 100 hours for that. Again, I don't mind doing longer games, but the conflict I'm seeing at the point is, well, if it takes me like between 24 and 47 hours to cover this one game, well, it takes a lot of time from something else that someone else could want me to cover as well, something that's relatively shorter, you know? So this is sort of like a give and take sort of thing. Bear in mind, I don't mind devoting the time to one game in particular. It's just a conflict in my mind, like, well, yeah, I could do this to satisfy that one person's request, but at the same time, what if someone else wants me to cover something that takes like 10 hours or 5 hours, you know? I could be doing a lot more of those in the same time frame it takes to do Dying Light 2. So it is just sort of like a juggling act to get through the stuff that people want me to cover, because sometimes they're small, sometimes they're big, you know? I will get to Dying Light 2 eventually, though. I mark my words, though. It's something I do want to cover, by the way. It's not that I don't want to cover it, but this is not just with Dying Light 2, by the way. I did get a comment, and I did start Link's Awakening, by the way. It's the first Zelda game I've done on the channel, right? Now, someone did leave a comment through my notifications. I don't want to bring it up, per se, because I tried to answer it personally. The comment wasn't there anymore. So I actually went from my YouTube studio, and there was no comment there listed, so maybe they posted this and deleted it. If that's the case, I don't want to identify the person who said this, because maybe they don't want to be identified. But anyway, their comment was, do you plan on playing Tears of the Kingdom? Which is also the most recent Zelda game that just came out a few days ago, right? Now, another thing I said while playing Link's Awakening is that, well, I don't mind Zelda. I mean, I grew up with Zelda, obviously. I played the NES First Edition, I played Link to the Past, and I played Ocarina of Time, the N64 version, not the Master Quest version, right? But in regards to the more recent stuff, let's go back to How Long to Beat again. HowLongToBeat.com. Let's bring up Tears of the Kingdom. Oh, there it is, right there. 34.5 hours just for the main story. Estimated, right? If you want to do like the extra stuff plus the main story, you're looking at 70 hours. Now, the thing is about Tears of the Kingdom, I heard very good things about it. I mean, the reviews have pretty much been like perfect across the board. So I'm not concerned about being a bad game. But first things first, I never even played Breath of the Wild. Shocker, right? Not that I didn't want to, it's at that point I did have a channel, right? So I didn't really feel like it's something I wanted to play on my own, in case somebody did want me to see me cover it, right? But let's look up Breath of the Wild, shall we? Breath of the... Can't type here. Wild. Jesus Christ. So I never even played the game before this, and this also takes a fair amount of time. And obviously these estimates are a bit more accurate considering how much longer the game has been out. So yeah, I don't mind covering this, but again, it's going to take quite a while for me to do that. And any time I spend devoted to this game or any other open world game, it's going to take away from other things that other people might want me to see. So I do feel the best way to go about this is, yeah, try to do maybe like one short thing, one longer thing. At the moment, I'm only playing 2 games at a time as part of my active series thing, which is working out pretty well. I'm not going to lie. This is working out pretty well. I think it's like a good strategy, considering there's so many things people want me to play, in addition to so many things that that I want to play personally that are not requested. So, yeah, I am fine with the 2 games at the moment. I plan on keeping it for the time being. So yeah, going forward, I guess the best thing to do is request something, like try to flip-flop between a short game and an open game. And also in regards to how I might approach an open world game, I am sort of divided on that as well, because I am trying to figure out the best way to do this sort of thing, whether it be like Far Cry or Fallout or Elder Scrolls. Because the way I see it, I can't record myself doing everything I do in the game because of its open world nature, right? Because remember when I did GTA 5 a while back? That I had a good time with, and obviously I didn't do everything in the game. I didn't do every side quest, collectible, whatever. My main focus was mostly on the main story missions. Well, here's the thing regarding something like that. If I do plan on doing some more stuff like that in the future, I definitely feel it's best to just do the main story stuff on camera, obviously, and the side story stuff that I want to cover, right? I just can't record myself doing every little thing. Like every time I start the game, I just record whatever I do. I definitely find most of these open world games, most of the stuff you do that's not related to a mission, it's just like random, right? When you go to something like GTA, yeah, most of the time when you're driving around Los Santos, you're just driving, right? You might come across a random encounter or like a stranger thing, but overall, most of the things you do aren't really that important to capture on video, as far as I can tell from my perspective, right? So I do feel if I were to do something like Dying Light 2, obviously I'll cover all the story missions when I'm ready to do them. I would cover out side stuff while I can, but as regards to recording myself doing everything in the game, like exploring a new area or grinding in general, I feel I have to leave that stuff out because otherwise the series would just drag on forever and ever and ever. And like I said, a lot of things that I would be doing in that time frame, just like like parkouring or fighting a few zombies, it's just kind of boring and tedious. I consider it more filler material than anything else. So here's my question to all of you regarding anything open world. Do you think that's an okay strategy to do? Especially with something like a quest system? Because I do feel that's the best way for me to do it as far as a Let's Play style goes. I mean, obviously, if I was doing something like this on my own, I wouldn't have to commentate or anything, and I would just play at my leisure. For the sake of actually recording and commentating and focusing on stuff, I do feel that's the best way to go about things, you know? So let me know what you think. I do, yeah, because if I were to do something like Breath of the Wild, I'm not even sure if it has a quest structure, but I know there's a huge world you can find. Oh, there's also the dungeons and also like the collectibles. I do feel if I were to start something like Breath of the Wild, I would actually just cover like the main dungeons and most of the main story stuff. Maybe some side stuff depending on if it's story related. I don't really like picture myself like gathering all those Korok seeds that I've heard all about so much. That would just be so tedious as hell. Excuse me. Damn, I'm choking up here. So I do feel that's a better way to do it. Open world stuff. Because not only will it be like more interesting for me to focus on the story stuff and not just exploring, but also make the series go a little quicker. Also, depending if it's like an RPG sort of thing with leveling, yeah, I can do the leveling off camera, so I'll be better ready for these like story-based stuff, so I won't be dying as much, right? I have done that in the past with some other things. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, Far Cry 5 I did a while back. And yeah, I covered the main story stuff, obviously. I did side stuff at my leisure, but it's not like I record myself doing every little thing imaginable. Because it would just be so long and drawn out if I did that. So I want to know what you think if that's a viable strategy for anything open world-ish. Obviously, anything more linear, I will just record everything I do, like a Call of Duty campaign. Yeah, there's no problem with me recording, doing everything in that. Because you basically start at point A, you get to point B, and as soon as you're done that, you go to the next linear option. So it's not like there's anything extra you could do with these types of games. So I think that's a good way to go about things. Oh, damn, I'm choking, sorry. So that's the thing when I drink too much and try to focus on talking again. Okay, so is there anything else I really need to discuss at the moment? Okay, I don't have a script when I do these things, so I'm just sort of thinking like in my head on what to talk about. There was something I was also considering maybe doing, you know? I talked about doing maybe other types of content, not just related to Let's Plays. Maybe gaming related in general, or maybe just some other type of topic altogether. Now, I have been a little skeptical about doing something like that. Because obviously I have no intent of becoming like a variety channel doing like a whole bunch of things. I definitely feel if when you're small time, it really does not pay to do something like that. Because anyone I hook in with the gaming content, I start doing stuff like world news or like I want to do something like a cooking tutorial. Yeah, people are not gonna be here for that, right? And when I do like attract through that, they're not gonna be interested in the gaming stuff, right? So I remember I did bring this up quite a while back, like asking people, like, do you care if I do some other things that I might be interested in? The general consensus was, yeah, sure, that's fine. We don't mind you doing other things. And I don't know who this was in particular, but they did provide a very good look at the type of thing. Their comment was more or less, yeah, if you want to do other types of content, do it because you want to, not because you have to, right? Also, if you apply the same amount of energy and effort you do as in your gaming videos, that'd be perfectly fine as well. Because obviously, I don't want to just like switch genres to something that I feel I have to do for attention. No, that's not what I'm talking about here. If I do cover other things through videos, it could be stuff that I want to cover, that I'm interested in, right? So one thing in particular, I thought maybe like more high value content that would be a lot more involved to do. Now, I did mention I worked at Blockbuster a while back. Actually, from 2005 to 2011, I worked there. Again, part time only. Because I had a big thing with movies. Because obviously in the 2000s, I became an adult and I was able to. Obviously, when you're an adult, you are open to a lot more genres of films. It's limited to the PG stuff. When you're a teenager, you're open to PG-13, but the time you're an adult, yeah, you're open up to R and anything else at that point. So that's why we started to expand down to movies, right? Well, it also helped that I was old enough to go to them on my own R-rated movie, whereas before I really couldn't. So I sort of had a falling out with movies, believe it or not. For no reason in particular, I just sort of like lost interest in them, and I never really bothered to get back into them. But surprisingly enough, I started getting back into them recently. Like not very recently, but like for a few months now. Because as you can see, some of the channels I am subscribed to are like movie reaction based. Also, I'm not gonna click on their videos because I don't want like expose them what they're doing for copyright stuff. But yeah, I do watch several people who do like movie reactions, right? So that's what sort of got me back into it, by the way. Seeing people's take on a movie they never saw before, which is yeah very interesting to me. Because obviously I do stuff with gaming, and even though I'm controlling what's happening on screen, I'm still reacting to the stuff as it happens, right? So this is sort of very interesting to me. See people's like take on this sort of stuff. Now, obviously, to do well in this type of thing, you have to be very charismatic, which I understand as well. A lot of these people I am subscribed to are pretty charismatic. I'm not gonna lie, which is why they do so well, by the way, too. You can't be a dull reactor, by the way. So then the thought came up to my mind, like, you ever consider might be doing movie reactions like these people do? Well, here's the thing. When you do reactions to like copyright stuff like that, you're more subject to copyright issues. Obviously, when I do a game, I pretty much can do whatever I want as long as it's not sexually oriented or deals with copyrighted music, right? Those are the only things I've ever had copyright issues with. But in terms of something like a movie, every reaction channel I see that does a movie reaction, they always seem to say, well, I can't post a full reaction because I will get copyright claimed. I see that a lot with a lot of things. Well, so let's look up Saving Private Ryan reaction. It's, by the way, I did see this in theaters back in the day. This came out in 1998, right? Obviously, I was too young to see it, so I had my folks take me. Completely, like, floored by how well this movie was done, which I'm pretty sure is what most people feel when they've watched this for the first time. But looking at the actual length here, right, it's 2 hours, 49 minutes, 30 seconds, right? But if you look at the actual lengths of people reacting to it, yeah, you could see that they don't even reflect 2 hours, 49 minutes at all. Like, this one's 42 minutes, this one's 55 minutes. This channel I am subscribed to, Sebscreen, did 33 minutes. This one's 36. Yeah, 36, 44. So that's why I'm worried about doing actual like movie reactions, because I'm just afraid I'm going to get hit with copyright claims. Another thing to worry about too is that I have no skills in editing. So obviously, when you look at any of these other people who do reactions, they like splice up their reaction and they just pretty much post the best parts of it. I don't even know how to do that efficiently, which is why I haven't really considered doing it at all. But then there's a whole other thing about copyright in general regarding movies that I just don't understand. Like everyone you see here, you talk to them, like, why don't you post a full reaction? They will say, well, I can't do that because I will get copyright claimed, right? But I do see sort of other examples that sort of contradict this. Because obviously, yes, if you do a reaction with a webcam and full commentary, that should qualify under fair use, right? So it should be allowed. But obviously, the companies like Paramount Plus or whatever, they don't give a shit about that. They'll claim you regardless if you post a full movie. But then I see other examples that sort of contradict this whole thing, right? Because obviously doing the commentary will qualify under fair use, whereas if you posted the entire movie like raw without you reacting, that's not qualify under fair use, right? Because you're not doing anything transformative to it. So yeah, that'll be well within the rights of the movie companies to take it down. because you're just ripping off their like intellectual property just to gain attention, right? But here's the thing: I see other examples of people doing just that, by posting a movie raw without anything transformative added, and they have no problem with copyright. So, getting kind of mixed messages here, you know. So, a perfect example I could bring up, which you could look this up for yourself, guys. Hard boiled movie. Now, if you don't know what Hard Boiled is, it is a like movie directed by John Woo. So as you can see here, the entire movie under this channel, Will I Am, it's here. The entire movie, nothing transformative added, with subtitles and everything, is right here. Original audio stuff, you could watch the entire thing, start to finish, and it's right here. And for whatever reason, John Woo and his movie company did not do a copyright strike against this, right? Also, there is this channel right here, G15 Extra Stuff, who did the exact same thing. It's the full movie right then and there, nothing added to it. So why hasn't that been taken down from copyright, right? I don't understand this. So also this thing is the entire Tea House shootout, which again, raw, nothing added to it. So why is that taken down either? So that's why I'm so confused about copyright stuff. I really don't understand it. Like how some people are able to get away with these sort of things. I mean, sure, even if they can't run ads on it, that's not the point. They're still attracting attention by putting up entire raw thing that they did not add anything transformative to. So that's why I'm really afraid to do full reactions to things. And by the way, Hard Boil is not just the only example. So when Shaker finds heat, shoot out. I hope I could type here, right? Actually, no, Michael Mann did the movie Heat back in 1995. It's a very epic crime movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you do. But here's another thing. I found this video a while back by All Cynthia Freeman. It's the entire shootout of the movie, raw. Nothing added to it. You could watch the entire thing, start to finish, and it's right here. This was uploaded 14 years ago without being taken down. Also, apparently this person did the same thing with the full robbery shootout. So it even says full shootout. I do not own this video. So I'm getting very kind of mixed messages from the idea of doing movie stuff, or even television stuff as well. One more example I want to point out is 44 Minutes. Now this is not nearly as well of a known thing. Okay, let's see if I can bring this up on Wikipedia real quick. I don't have to save the address. Fine, jeez. Because this was a TV-made movie, by the way. It wasn't in theaters, but it is based off the real-life story of the bank robbery in North Hollywood. So as you can see, yes, it is a real-life movie. And the cast is pretty decent, Michael Madsen, pretty legendary guy. He's been around for a long time. Oddly enough, Ron Livingston is in it. Yeah, I shit you not. No, the Office Space guy, he plays a SWAT officer. No, not exactly the best pairing for him, but he still does a good job. So anyway, yeah, copyright thing. As you can see back on YouTube, entire movie posted right here. Full-length movie. And everything. Entire movie right there. Right there. So I don't understand how these things work. In regards to copyright, can you sometimes get away with it? Can you not get away with it? I just don't know. I really don't. That's why I'm very hesitant to do anything with movies. Even if I do make them transformative, right? I know it's going on a little off tangent, but I apologize for that. But I do want to discuss maybe doing other things, right? So one thing I thought maybe doing on my own was Scary Movie. I'm pretty sure many of you are familiar with the Scary Movie franchise. Okay, I don't need to see those creepy images, jeez. So yeah, obviously Scary Movie was the first. Okay, I don't really need to see these creepy images either, jeez. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, Scary Movie was a spoof thing. Now, I have watched many people react to Scary Movie. As you can see, it's been quite a fairly popular thing for people to react to, right? So, interestingly enough, when I see people react to this, I find it very, not so much disappointing, but interesting that a lot of people don't get the references they do, like the spoofs that they particularly target. So I thought maybe, why don't I do my own thing, going over the things that they mock, the original sources, and compare it to what way they parody it. But it goes back to the copyright thing. Even if I put my voice over and use actual clips from the real sources, will I get in trouble with copyright? I have no idea. I guess in theory I could try to do that, just upload and see what happens, but I don't know. I'm just very like on the edge about doing stuff like that. I really am. If anyone has like suggestions of how to maybe not avoid copyright, I just don't know. I could try doing something like that again, see if it happens, but at the moment, not really committed to it just yet. Also, one other thing, I thought maybe just discussing things in general, either my opinions on certain things or whatnot, you know. Because I don't think I've ever actually admitted this, but yeah, I've always been a big Star Wars fan. Because, yeah, my folks introduced it to me when I was a kid, and I've been hooked ever since, roughly. I know this fan base is sort of divided over the more recent movies. Like, first they hated the prequel trilogy, and then when the sequel trilogy came out, they were all like, oh, awful, 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 0 out of 100. I definitely feel they're a bit a little harsh in that regard, but it's just so insane the amount of things I know that the average person does not know about the franchise. It's just so insane. I thought maybe I just as an example of doing something else, not movie related, maybe just talking about the franchise in general. You know, my experiences with it, stuff that people might not know. Like as a free example, I want to point this out. Let's see. Let's go to Google for this. Also, again, any Star Wars fan will know that Ewan McGregor played Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequel trilogy, right? And he also reprised the role for the Obi-Wan series. Now, a lot of people, including myself, remember when this, like, again, the Phantom Menace came out in 1999 when he first played the character. I remember back then, like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, why would he be involved in this? Because if you look at his, like, previous acting credits, he wasn't really involved in anything sci-fi. So I did wonder, like, as I mentioned many other people did, like, why was he cast in this role, such an iconic role? Now, obviously, I don't know if this is directly related to him being cast or not, but I'm about to say something I'm willing to bet, like, virtually no one even knows is a real thing, is actual factual thing. So, yeah, I did learn this later on my own, but do many people here know? Like, raise your hand right now, yes or no. Were you aware prior to me saying this that Ewan McGregor is the nephew of Dennis Lawson? Raise your hand if you were aware of that before I said that. Yeah, I'm willing to bet no one's raising their hand, right? Now, many of you may be saying, well, who the hell is Dennis Lawson? What does he have to do with anything with Star Wars? Well, funny you should ask that. Let's bring up Dennis Lawson right here. Yeah, because he played Wedge. Okay, excuse me, I need to do that. In the original trilogy, let's bring this up right here. He played Wedge Antilles in the original trilogy, right? How old is he now? He is actually 75, God bless. Okay, so anyway, look up his acting credits. Yeah, he was Wedge in Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So maybe that has something to do with the fact that his nephew was cast as Obi-Wan. I don't know. But at the same time, how many of you actually knew that before I said that? No, Ewan McGregor is actually the nephew of this guy. Let me see if I can actually bring up a story about that. Yeah, Des Washington is Ewan McGregor's uncle and the Wire Told American talk show host. His introduction to Star Wars due to the family connections. Crazy, right? Again, I knew this already, but how many of you people, how many of anyone watching this video knew that before I said it? Like, the amount of Star Wars stuff I know that the average person will not, just mind-blowing. Yeah, partially it's because I looked into this stuff on my own, but another thing is that I just know it in general, which is crazy. So maybe I should go over stuff like that. I don't know. Because obviously, doing stuff like this with images and like sources, that does not violate copyright. So I have no problem with copyright stuff doing stuff like that, right? So I don't know. I gotta see. Obviously, me being so tired and not being able to focus on gameplay, this might be actually a good idea to do stuff like this. You know, just to pass the time and stay busy. Because obviously, these are topics I am interested in, right? That's just I just want to, I have to do this stuff because I really want to, you know. So there's something to think about. You know, again, I apologize for going a little off topic here. That is sort of what I do when they make these discussion videos, but no, go figure. So yeah, I'm gonna try and still focus on gaming. Gaming is still gonna be like the primary focus of the channel, right? I'm trying to do some more stuff. I'm not gonna skip on that at all. But at the time being, I might have to do some other stuff again because I want to, because I'm just not feeling up to doing gaming stuff either. Take another sip there. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. Like as I had mentioned before, people have been supporting me, like doing other things that I just want to do. It's not related to gaming. So I might actually start doing that, like I said I would. Yeah, a while back I did do that video about people saying, "Oh, video games that are violent they turn you to a murderer and a psychopath," which I obviously wholeheartedly fucking disagree with. And that video was received pretty well, actually. But no, it was gaming related, obviously. But again, making something like more in depth like that, that's not directly tied to me commentating over a game, is more stuff that I do want to explore, right? And that video was received well, like I said. So I think I'm dragging on a bit too long here. Again, as usual, I tend to do this when I make these discussion videos. So that's pretty much what's going on. I'm not feeling very well at the moment. I'm just trying to feel better. I'm going to try and do some more gaming stuff when I can. Maybe branch out to a bit more things that more people want me to do that might take a little longer. Again, I do hope that my strategy regarding open world stuff is more acceptable. Instead of just covering everything I do, just cover the main story stuff and do the unimportant stuff off camera. Yeah, so I think I pretty much went over everything I want to do. Again, I'm talking again way too long, so let's stop now. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm going to keep working hard on this channel, obviously. I have no intention of stopping. Thanks for all your support as always, and I'll see you in something new very soon.